everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. It's your coach. It's your coach, Carla Nicole. How are you this morning? I know you're ready, baby. Let's go. Because ain't nobody playing. I know you are ready. Grand Rising Dailies. So glad everyone is here. I'm going to give people a chance to come in. If you don't know who I am Coach Carla Nicole. I will be celebrating 53 solar returns on Friday. So I'm very excited. Let me just say that. Very excited. Have a lot of extremely excited energy this morning. So good morning. Good morning. So glad you're here. I am. I'm going to let you guys kind of get settled in. And as you're coming in, tell me your name. Let me know who you are, where you're from. And let me know what moved you to join this morning. What moved you to join? This is my series, Crack of Dawn. Crack of Dawn is so important. Good morning, Dailies. Crack of Dawn is so important. You know, a lot of people have a hard time getting up. And I get it. I know. I haven't been in an actual professional job for a while now. I ended up jumping ship and going into my entrepreneur venture and decided to not do that anymore. But what I will say is, you know, alarm clocks and just getting out of bed was like, oh man, it was hard to really do. And I kept wanting to hit the snooze button and, oh, I got to do this again. And I was at my job. I worked for United Healthcare for over 21 years. And when I was at my job, you know, it was completely different than getting up and being in purpose now. Just having my energies to want to jump out of bed is extremely fun. It's exciting. And so now I don't just roll out of bed, as they say. I actually jump out of bed in purpose because I love doing what I do. I enjoy it. I definitely am big about inspiring other people, making sure people understand that just being on the planet and existing isn't what we should be doing. We should be trying to make a difference. We should be trying to figure out how our journey can enlighten someone else. What we learn teach somebody else. And so it's imperative that we learn the importance of what we're doing and why we're doing it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. I'm so glad you're here. Join in, join in. Say hello. Tell me where you're from. Come on in and type in where you're from. Also, let me know what moved you to join. Why'd you come in? Come on in. I haven't started yet. I'm just warming up. I'm Coach Carla Nicole. If you don't know me, share your name. Share why you're here. Tell me what made you come over here to see what's going on. And also let me know if you are kind of curious as to why you keep having things come up in your life over and over and over again. This is the place to be. I'm Coach Carla Nicole. I tell you what, I'm big about encouraging others to learn from their challenges, from their, you know, situations that go on in their life, and they're thinking to themselves, why does this keep happening? Why do I keep choosing the same type of lovers? Why does my situation keep happening over and over and over and over and over again? I'm here to tell you why this morning. So make sure to share this video, subscribe, please subscribe and join in. Share with me who you are, say hello, and we'll be getting started in just a couple of minutes. So I wanted to talk about why I did this particular topic. And I know that it's hard to even imagine where I come up with content, but it's usually from a spiritual place. I usually meditate on it. I try to realize, like in my coaching sessions, what people are feeling like. But recently, I've just been feeling this heaviness over people. There's a lot going on in the world, and so just a lot of divide and division over who believes what and why you believe it and what party you're in and what religion you stand on and who's this and who's that. And we're losing a lot of kindness to each other. And because we're losing that kindness, we're also losing the desire to want to be in the presence of other people. But unfortunately, it's coming to the point where I'm now having to come out here and talk about some things that I see is going on. I'm noticing, like I said earlier, people are just rolling out of bed instead of jumping out and wanting to be excited about coming to life in the morning. Crack of Dawn stands for that. Why did I pick that name? Why Crack of Dawn did I pick that name? Well, Crack of Dawn means at the crack of dawn, I am up and joyous and excited to be on the planet. We are blessed to be here. Why? Because it's essential that we have a desire to want to be on the planet. However, a lot of times what I'm finding in my coaching practice is people are frustrated by the so-called societal promises that were going to be made. You're going to get married by 25. You're going to have children by 27. You're going to have your silver, your silver wedding anniversary by 50 something. All of these so-called societal messages and promises have gotten a lot of people very disappointed. They're disappointed in when they wake up and open their eyes, they're not seeing what they thought they were supposed to be having by now. And so there's a lot of people in an upset. There's a lot of people in a sadness, in almost like a soul disappointment. And so I want to talk about that. But let me also explain why that's happening. Please share with me who you are, your name, what city and state you live in, and share the video, subscribe. Listen, I'm a coach, yes. But what I do on these days, which is every other Wednesday, I come out here on Crack of Dawns at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time so that I can invite you to wake up early and not roll out of bed because you have to be somewhere, a job, or you got to roll out of bed because you're obligated. But I want you to jump out of bed because you're excited to be on the planet. You're happy, you're excited. Good morning, Ashore. Hello, good morning. So glad you're here. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to comment. Tell me why you're here. So listen, let me tell you guys what I want to talk about. I want to talk about patterns today. Okay, so patterns, right? Don't they get so annoying? After a while, when we start to get into reflection or we start to think about our memories of our life, we start to look at certain resemblances that happen. There's certain things that keep coming up, keep happening over and over and over again. And it's really frustrating, especially if they're not so favorable to our liking. For instance, you might get out of a love affair, right? You've been in this romance with this person for a long time, and love is delicious and tastes so good. But when things go left and things go awry, it's not so pleasant anymore. You start to feel really frustrated, sad, upset, and you lose the fragrance of love that you had in the beginning. And then you part ways and you're so disgusted, upset, kind of burned, if you will, and you just move on. I mean, life goes on, so you just keep going on, and it is what it is. Then you find somebody else, and you like them a lot, but you're not paying attention that you did not properly exit out of the last relationship. So in this new relationship, it looks new. However, there's little cues of familiar things that happens within this relationship that looks a lot like your ex relationship. And you're not paying attention because you're just in the nostalgia and the excitement of the new relationship, which is fine. But the truth of the matter is, it gets really frustrating because you're like, why do I keep feeling like I keep choosing the same lover, or I keep choosing the same type of lovers? Why do I keep choosing these type of people? Why is it that I seem to draw to that type of lover? Well, first of all, there's several reasons, but I'm going to keep this light this morning. There's patterns that are happening. Let me know if there's something you're curious about when you are in love affairs and they're no longer here, but yet you still, in your new relationships, you still seem to draw to something. And you still seem to draw to that type, or you still seem to draw to something that tastes good, but you know isn't good for you, but you keep going back. Let me explain something to you. Any type of vice, be it lovers that we're like extremely attracted to, or different activities we do that maybe isn't so good for us, like drinking to drunkenness, and we keep doing it knowing that it's not really good, but we do it no less because of the nostalgia or because of the patterns we have with that particular whatever. In other words, we might have a friendship that we know goes up and down constantly, up and down, up and down, up and down. And we don't want to get rid of it because we actually care about the person, but the person isn't really a friendship, isn't it? We haven't created a friendship together where that love isn't going in and out. So this is difficult. Great. Hey, ATC, I will answer your question in just a second. Give me a moment. So you're getting this peaks and valleys in this friendship and it doesn't feel right and it's frustrating. I get it. That's one of the problems, is that we have patterns that we're not paying attention to, but we also get into a frustration in something that continues to happen, not realizing that it's happening because it's a lesson to be learned in that. It's not to punish you. I know it feels uncomfortable. I know you keep drawing to someone, or you keep drawing to certain types of people, or you keep seeing certain behaviors and you keep drawing to it. But there's something that it's here to show you that you maybe don't understand why it's happening. Okay? So let me take a look and see. Good morning, Krishna. So glad you're here. Okay. Can I please tell you how to make kids want to be kids again? Well, so I'm old school. Like I said, my birthday's coming up on Friday. My solar return, I will be 53. Okay? So I'm a little old school, if you can understand that. And the truth of the matter is, how do we make children become children again? Is by finding inside of ourselves the childlike tendencies that we neglected once we became polished adults. Children mirror what we are. So when we become polished and we don't want to play, we don't want to go outside, we don't want to this, we don't want to that, and I'm not going out there in all that cold. I don't want to get out here and dance. I don't want to play board games. I don't want to you remember when we used to go out and we would take chalk and we put it on the sidewalk and hopscotch? We don't want to do all those things now. We're adults. I'm not supposed to do all of that. But children mimic what they see. And if you want your child to resemble children again, you got to tap back into you being a child again. I can usually, when I'm involved with kids, and let me tell you, I love children like crazy, but I also love young adults. And the reason is because I tell people all the time, I am a daughter. I'm also a mama. I am a ex-wife. I'm a new partner now. I am a grandmother. So I'm a lot, okay? Now, as a daughter, am I still active as being a daughter? No, because my parents have since passed on. But I am those roles. And because I am those roles, I still know how to tap into that part of me. So when I am in that space and time with a young adult or a child, or a young person, I don't get in this almost like a judgmental space or a demanding space of them having to be this and that, but I become my younger self and I explain to them, don't be intimidated by me. I'm still a kid at heart. I would love to get out there and do roller skating and bike riding and all that. I'm still a kid at heart. I'm still that. I've just evolved into making sure that being a parent, being a coach, being, someone that as a guide, and I have a spiritual purpose, I can't stay kid-like, But if I want children to be children again, I have to be able to relate to them and allow them to be that. But I also have to remember, just because I'm in my 50s doesn't mean I can't have children that's younger than me. I have a son that's 17, a daughter that's 26, a grandson that's 6. I can't be unrelatable because I'm just so, I'm this and that because I'm this age. But I have to make sure that I can tap into who I was at their age and then come to their level, not baby them, but say, hey, when I was your age, and that's always annoying to kids, but I didn't care for when we had our holiday get together. My kids were like, what are you doing, Mom? I said, we're going to play Uno. Now, my son is like, Mom, I don't want to do all that. I'm like, well, I'm sorry you don't want to do all that, but we are, as a family, we're going to sit down and we're going to play Uno. Now, when you're playing Uno with your kids, like I said, I'm in my 50s. My kids are, my son is 17, so I'm damn near, oh, I am. I'm 35 years older than my son. And I'm telling my kids, we're going to play Uno and we're going to have a good time. Well, once, he was a little stiff. We had just lost our dog. So he wasn't really in the best mood because he's still grieving. But when after a while we started to really play Uno and get into the rhythm of it, my kids started to smile. And then I learned something new. The new Uno stack has something different on it, which is called Shuffle the Deck, which means you have to now take the cards out your hand and put them back in the deck. They shuffle and you start a whole new game again. We didn't have that back in the day in Uno. So I'm like, what is this? But I was excited and I wanted my kids to know I relate to you. Yes, I'm your mom. But I was a kid too. I loved Uno because I told my daughter, I said, you got any board games? You got Monopoly? She's like, Mom, I don't have Monopoly, no, but I do have some board games. I said, bring them out. We will pick and choose what board games we're going to play for the holiday. Gift giving and all of that is fine. But for me, I wanted to bring out excitement in life again. And sometimes as parents, we get frustrated with our kids, but we got to tap back into who we are as kids again so that we can be relatable to the children no matter what age they are. I mean, really, it's not hard, but great question. And we can change our pattern of being mom or dad or whatever in that space and just enjoy them and let them show you something that you wouldn't know because, of course, when we get so old or whatever, we feel like we know everything, even as parents. I always say, even though I might know everything that I think I know, I'm willing to listen to my kids, let them show me something. I learned something about my son. I learned something about my daughter. When you're busy in life, you don't have those moments. Like when I was growing up, we sat down to eat together every day. We had dinner together. So what does that mean? There was interaction. There was family time. There was time where I could relate to my mom and my dad. And mind you, my parents were older than me, quite a bit older. My mom was like 33 years older. My dad was 37 years older than me. So I had older parents. So in that, I often forget I have that older parent kind of parenting style. And so in order for me to be relatable to my kids, I had to come up with a plan on how can I change the pattern of feeling ousted as a parent and only a dictator in my kids' lives, and how can I make it to where they're relating to me and they can feel me caring about them without losing them to, social media or TikTok or whatever the heck's going on now. How can I still be relatable? And I've decided that in order to change that pattern, how can I do it? Well, that's how I do it. That's how I get down and dirty. I actually will get down and be relatable because I try to make sure my kids understand it's okay. Happy birthday, Chloe. Happy 14th birthday. I'm so glad you're here. I'll be 53 on Friday. You are a beautiful Capricorn. That's so awesome. And listen, let me tell you this. Being 14 again, when I think back on 14, I used to do a lot of bike riding. I had fun. But like I tell you, yes, I'm a mom of a 17-year-old son, but I also had a daughter that was 14. She's 26 now, so she's grown. But I have kids, but I'm also still a kid at heart. And in order for you to feel like you matter, you have to allow your kids to be who they are without trying to be so judgmental and telling them that they're doing things wrong. They're doing things right in the time they're here. When we were young, we had things we were doing. It didn't mean it was right. It just was in the time and the generation we were in. That's why we did it. So make sure to share this video. Come on in. I'm so glad you're here. Join, join, join. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And if you have questions on why certain patterns keep coming up, I will fill you in as to why. Okay, so great. Great, great, great. Everybody says I look like Kamala. I think that's hilarious. Okay, let's see. So you say I prayed to the devil to get money, and surprisingly I got money too. What you say about that? Why isn't dinosaurs mentioned in the Bible? You're 11. Welcome, ATC. I'm glad you're here. She's going to be fabulous at 53. I am, yes. And I think you should be fabulous too. Whatever age you are today is a birthday. We're not the same that we were yesterday. So remember, listen, at the end of the day, we are always going to grow. But the challenge is when we have certain things keep happening and we have certain patterns that keep coming up in life, we get frustrated because we're like, I don't want to keep having this happen. But rather than getting frustrated by patterns continuing to happen, pay attention to the lesson it's trying to show you. Pay attention. Hey, Anthony, 67, welcome. So glad you're here. So glad you're here. Make sure to share the video, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Like I said, being 53, I'm a little old school. So I have certain things that I teach young people, but with me being a coach, oftentimes I teach young adults. Parents bring me their kids. Like, can you, here, work with my child. Here, work with my grandchild. So I have clients that bring me their babies to coach them. And I love it because it allows me to be relatable to not just adults, but it also helps me to go back and remember the challenges of being a child so that when, youth come up and they need help or they're going through things, I can be relatable and help them through it. But I also want to tell you, if you haven't already subscribed, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, I currently have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/ with a little C and another / Carla Nicole, all one word. I have an actual membership right now for just $11 a month where you can actually get a lot of information, and it's my group called choosing from self-trust. A lot of times we have a hard time trusting ourselves because we don't know ourselves. And then when we do start to look back on choices we've made, we start to get frustrated with those choices because we're like, I didn't like the choice I made. That's okay. It was a part of your path. You learn from your choice if you stop for a minute and look at, why did I make that choice? What is it that I thought about, or how did I come to the conclusion of doing certain things and I'm continuing to do them and I don't feel confident that I made the right choice? Well, unfortunately, we're going to make mistakes. Unfortunately, it's true. We're going to come across some challenges in life. If you're not having problems, I'm telling you now, you're not living, or something is going on, because life has problems. It's just what it is. But does that mean we don't want to continue life because we have problems? Well, no, that's a part of the journey. We learn more when we go through learning how to be better at decision making. We learn more when we go through understanding, oh, I'm having challenges because I made this decision. Like I told you guys earlier, having children, having a daughter, having a son, being a grandparent, it is not easy to get back to realizing that sometimes we can be so far off of understanding what their challenges are that we get to that moment of feeling like, oh, you just keep making the same mistakes. You keep dating the same guy over and over. And what are you thinking? And all this stuff. It's like, no, let's hold back being judgmental and let's realize, oh, I get it. So now let me help them to see you're not wrong. You just are making lefts every time you come to this intersection. What is it about the left that you just can't seem to stop doing? I'm going to tell you what it is. Familiarity. When we get comfortable because we're familiar with something. We're familiar with something. So say, for instance, you go to a coffee shop that you always go to. You're going to be comfortable there because people know your name. People remember you. People have a very good rapport with you. But when you go to a place you've never been, it's awkward. It's scary. It's like, I don't know what this is about. I've never been here before. This is why we continue with our patterns. We don't really sit down and pay attention that, yes, in the challenges of being in this lifetime, we are going to have times where we're in these different scenarios, and we oftentimes, without even really realizing it, we go with what we are familiar with. We go with what we feel comfortable in, because we really, as humans, we don't like being uncomfortable. We don't. And so we challenge it when we jump into a different environment that we've never been in. How many times do you hold back doing something that you have no idea what you're doing? But then you're like, well, actually, I made quite a few mistakes doing that. But in my mistakes, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep challenging myself to learn something new about this. Then you do what? You start to build curiosity. Curiosity is one of the best ways to break a pattern. What we tend to do is we tend to get familiar with stuff, and we're not realizing that in being comfortable and familiar with certain things, we seem to get into that because it's comfortable. Getting uncomfortable is oftentimes not something we want to do. So I'm going to put you up on game with something. Curiosity actually is one of the ways you can start to pivot, change, and deregulate the sadness, disappointment, upsets that you have in life. So once you start looking at, wait a minute, why does this keep happening? Why do I keep going through this? Look at the intersection you're at. Why do you keep making that left? Is it familiar? Yes. But is it the best thing to do, or did you not learn the lesson when you made the left the last time? You keep making the left, and you've just never gotten curious to make the right. Well, that's because it's scary over there. You know, a lot of people go to church. That's something. I'm not saying anything negative or positive. I'm just saying a lot of people go to church, and when they go there, they go and try to pray away a lot of things, and then they go home, and right after Sunday dinner, that thought or that determination to change it starts to fade. The reason why is because this is a pattern. You went to church, you promised you were going to do this and do that, or then New Year's, great example, New Year's resolution, we promised ourselves we're going to do this and do that, and we're going to do it right, and we're going to have this and have that, and all of those things. I get it. However, the only time things are going to change is when you start getting curious as to why you keep making the same decision over and over and expecting a different result. It's not going to happen as long as you stay rooted in making the same decision. So if you want to change out of patterns, you must change them by deciding to get curious as to what are these results trying to teach me? Why does this keep coming up? Why do I keep having these things go on? And why do I keep having these same experiences? Life is full of experiences. Life is full of so much stuff that we may or may not have something to do with. But when you come to a crossroad and it's like, well, should I make a left or right? And every time you have in the past made that left, after a while you have to question, well, what will it show me if I make a right? Guess what? By making the right, it changes everything. Just that final change of just making a small difference in what you always, so-called always do or always choose. Try something different. When you do this, what happens? It pattern disrupts. We love patterns because we're comfortable in them. We love patterns. We love to do something. Our routines are patterns. Our rituals are patterns. They're continual. And the more we do them, the more we get comfortable with them. We enjoy them or we don't. But if they are unfavorable patterns going on, you need to ask yourself, okay, every time I get to this crossroad, I always make a left. How can I make a right? Now, like I said, when that happens, you got to look at the unknown. Become curious of it. Don't become afraid of it. See, a lot of times we won't jump to a new opportunity. We won't take on any risk. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, oh no, I'm not. Take risk. Bet on you for a change. Do it different. Because when you do these things, when you start taking risks, when you do stuff different, when you change up the trajectory of what you constantly do over and over again, what happens is you start to build a knowledge of, oh, the unknown helps me to do what? The unknown helps you to actually learn how to pattern disrupt, how to change your results that are unfavorable, how to actually change your life for the better. It actually helps you to decide, okay, when I make these decisions, I'm getting these results, and I don't realize how much these results really are costing me in time and agony. And that's the most expensive thing you have while you're here on the planet is your time. Not your home, not your car, not your diamonds, not your things, not your whatever. It's your time. That's the most important thing that you own is your time. So when you start to get curious about results you keep getting that you're not enjoying, that you're not happy with, you have to stop and think, why do I keep making these decisions? And if I keep making these decisions, it's taking up more what? Time, which is your most expensive thing you're giving away to the nonsense. You got to sit back and look at this. When you keep giving away and gifting time, energy, and effort into something that is not giving you a good return on investment, then you're actually wasting time. And one thing I always say, I don't waste time. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something with intention. So I changed that pattern also because I would get swooped up in things too. Swooped up in this happening and swooped up in drama and swooped up in this and swooped up in that. And find myself in a frenzy of just stuff. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with me. Why do I keep putting myself in these positions or making myself available to all this back and forth? Why do I keep doing that? Well, let me change the pattern. And once I decided to change the pattern, it actually helped me because I was like, oh my God, I just made a small change, and just changing that alone helped me to get new results. So now I'm more stingy with my time. I'm more stingy with my access to me. You can't just come over here and spend time with me. What are we doing? unless it's just some type of leisure thing and we just have a one-on-one or whatever, and we agree to that. But normally, I'm like, if you are spending time with your coach here, I'm wanting to pour something into you so that you can take it today and change some things. It's not hard to do, but it's definitely not oftentimes appreciated until something comes up, and then they're like, ooh, coach told me to do this, let me do it. And then once they do it, they're like, ooh, that worked. Okay, now I'm okay. Well, yeah, but you're not okay until you actually go ahead and do something you wouldn't normally do. Don't forget to share this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I do Crack of Dawn episodes every other Wednesday to help you to understand, not just to roll out of bed, but jump out of it. You have a purpose on the planet. You need to make sure that you are self-loving. More self-love. I'm big about this. Self-loving is very important. You being here is a part of loving yourself, believe it or not, because I'm giving you something to change your patterns that obviously you're moved to want to learn about. Well, why do we go to this? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? Well, like I said earlier, we are getting so caught up in familiarity. We love getting comfortable. We hate discomfort. We don't want to go through discomfort. We don't want to go through challenges. We don't want to go through pain. But the best growth comes from making challenges and making better decisions. And so again, great question I had earlier is, how do I change my trajectory? How do I make different decisions? How do I get rid of these same patterns over and over and over again? And also observe people around you that keeps making the same mistakes over and over and over. You're like, why do you keep doing this? That doesn't make any sense. Why do you keep doing it? Well, they keep doing it because, oh, I can't get enough of these things that I'm stuck on. Not everybody has to understand. We all have vices, and vices are something that we can get addicted to. So we can get addicted to intimacy. We can get addicted to a certain friendship type. We can get addicted to, I don't know, someone's treatment of us. We can get addicted to things that has nothing to do with alcohol or comes with any warning label. Your certain relationships you're in did not have a warning label on it. So you didn't know that the person that you're getting involved with is a little bit dangerous. But you went in there anyway. Because of why? Well, you had something similar in the past, and their rapport and how you guys flowed kind of resembled what you had before, and it worked. So of course you go ahead and go with it. But the one that looked very odd to you or was weird or whatever, you're like, I don't want to have anything to do with that. That doesn't look like anything I've ever been through. But like I said earlier, when we get caught up in routine and we get caught up in similarities and patterns and doing things the same way over and over and over again, when we get in that routine, we don't realize, oh, if I change it up and start to do something different, what will that bring me? What will I learn? Not about the position and doing it, but what will I learn from doing something completely different than I've done before? What can I get from that? Like, seriously, what will I learn from that? Well, 9 times out of 10, you will learn that, oh my God, I can do something completely different than what I've been doing. And in doing that, you're going to get a different result. And guess what that happens? Guess what happens when you get a different result? You now get curious about doing more things that take risk. More things that are a little more, worth looking into. Because we miss out a lot of times on things because we don't want to do what? We don't want to get into it to where we're learning something about something we've never known. I'm going to share this part with you, and I'm going to set you all free. When I was young, my parents always tried to involve me with something new. My mother, yes, bless her soul, she decided. Now, mind you, I think I was about in the maybe third, fourth grade. My mother decided that she's going to go on this campaign of, I think girls should be able to play t-ball with the boy team. Now, mind you, I didn't ask for this at all whatsoever. Didn't have any desire to play t-ball. Didn't know anything about it. I'm not someone that's really got an athletic side to me anyway. But she decides she's going to contact this coach over and over and over again that I be allowed to play on a t-ball team with all boys. Now, at the time, when I tell you I was frustrated, that would be an understatement. Mommy, I don't want to play that. I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. It didn't matter. She fought and fought and fought for me to be on this boy t-ball team. Okay. Long story short, yeah, they let me on the team. Now, mind you, I'm horrible at t-ball. Didn't do good at all. Okay? I played the t-ball. I'd run around the bases. Didn't know what I was doing. Often was not doing well at all. Now, when I got on the outfield, I couldn't catch balls either. Just ridiculous, right? We're on the last game. Bases are loaded. Mind you, I'm on the outfield. My family is here from Akron, Ohio. I lived in Berea, Ohio, and my family has come from out of town to see me just looking awful out here playing this sport I didn't even ask to be in. Bases are loaded. We're on the final inning. This is it. Mind you, I'm not good at, like I said earlier, I'm not good at playing this game at all. Tied game. Bases are loaded. And it's their turn to play. This is their last run. They hit that young child, hits the ball, and the ball is coming straight for me. Now, at the time, I thought, okay, it's win or lose. When I tell you, I caught that ball, I don't know what angel or what helped me, because I was, like I said, I was not good at playing t-ball. I caught the ball. We won the game. We won that season. That season. Now, I'm picked up. All the boys that didn't want me on the team to begin with are ranting and raving. They're excited that I won. But I shared that with you to tell you, I didn't even want to do the t-ball. I wasn't interested. But what I do know is my mother threw me into an environment of a bunch of boys that didn't want me there. She threw me into an environment that wasn't made for girls anyway. She also threw me into an environment of the unknown. I might do well, I might not. But what it taught me is sometimes if we do something that we don't want to do, if we do something that's unique or something that is challenging to our hearts, our minds, our souls, guess what happens? We end up finding out, hey, that wasn't so bad. And the lesson I learned was, just because you don't like something doesn't mean you can't learn something. I learned a lot by playing t-ball with a bunch of boys that didn't like me. Guess what happens now? I'm a coach, a life coach. You think everything that I post or say or coach to people, you think they all like what I say? No. And sometimes when I go public, some gentleman might come for me. They may not like what I say. They may want to challenge me. They may want to change my mind or say something a little smart aleck or whatever. They might want to troll me, whatever. And I don't let down. You don't intimidate me. I'm not worried about you saying something. That's not going to cause me to feel away. And guess what else it helped me with? I now have thick skin. somebody says something or somebody does something or somebody's caught gossiping or saying something behind my back, it doesn't affect who I am to me. I just chuckle at it. And I learn, okay, that's all right. I've been in a whole environment unwanted. And at the end of the day, I helped us win that game, the last one of the season. So I really don't care about being in a situation where it's uncomfortable. I'm learning now to embrace the pattern changes. Be okay in the unfamiliar. Go ahead and jump into the pool of unknown. Walk on faith, as they say. And I always say, for a whole season, for me, I wasn't walking on faith. I was slow jogging by faith. And when I tell you that, that is a whole nother energy, because I didn't know if certain things were going to happen. But I tell you what I did know is I wasn't going to give up. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad all of you commented. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being willing to jump out of bed to be with me this morning. I hope this helped you. Don't give up. Always remember, just because you've had challenges, just because you went back and forth, just because people don't want you there, it doesn't matter. Be there anyway. Regardless of if they want you there or not, you're there. So get over it. Don't allow people's positions or their talking to you negatively. Don't let it discourage you. Because in that whole scenario, like I told you earlier, I went through a lot in that scenario, being the only girl and not knowing what I was doing. But at the end of the day, I do realize that sometimes when we're in the pool of unknown, we get known by showing up, whether someone likes it or not. Be sure to share this video. I appreciate all of you. Go on to my Patreon. It's under Carla Nicole. And join. Like I said, I have a beautiful group called Choosing from Self-Trust. It's $11 a month. I give so much information. You can also buy my book there called She's Beside Herself. I have a book called She Left Anyways. All kinds of books. I mean, all kinds of things. And if you don't want to join the membership, you can join for free. My link is in the comments here. So jump over to the comments and find my link. Become a member on my Patreon. That's what I'm here for. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. And also, if you need to get a hold of me, you can call me. My 800 number is 88445-WISDOM, extension 0. And we can talk about what plans you're needing for coaching. If you're going through some challenges, if you're really wanting to do a pattern disrupt, you can get with me and I can show you how to do that. I'm here. Yes, I'm a coach. Yes, I come every 2 weeks. But if you really need to get a hold of me, call me. And also that number that I just gave you, you can send text to, and you can book me. And all of that information is in the comments and in the bio line. So I appreciate everyone. Stay safe. It's your coach, Carla Nicole.